Welcome to a new edition of Showtime with Coop. Insightful BS with my Laker teammates and NBA legends, and I'm always joined by
this legend,
the effervescence, the incomparable, the man with supple skin, Nick.
the
Nick, how are you
Italian.
today?
Coop, I'm good, man. It's good to see you. How you doing out there?
Absolutely wonderful. I'm doing great because the Lakers are winning, although we've lost our last 3 or 4, but we're in that fourth spot or tied for fourth, and I'm doing wonderful.
So you're feeling good, Coop. They're 16-9 since the trade, and they've lost their last 3 since LeBron came back. Sometimes that happens when you're reintegrating your star player. But what are your overall feelings since the Luka trade, and then also the last couple games where they've had a little fall off?
Well, since the trade, I am very ecstatic. I think the Lakers have 3 legitimate 30-point scorers, and that's been shown by the way Reeves, LeBron, and Luka have been playing. The rest of the guys are following suit. They're filling in the holes. They're playing their position. They are getting ready with their hands set like I used to do when Kareem and Magic and Worthy was in the low post, and all I had to do was just shoot the basketball. And when you got Finney Smith, you've got Gabe Vincent, Connect. You got guys on the perimeter that's ready to knock down shots. That makes for a winning team and winning formula. So although they've lost, I like the position the Lakers are in, and I'm predicting right now on
Here we go.
Showtime with Coop. The Lakers will make it to the Western Conference Finals, and it doesn't matter who they play, the Nuggets or OKC. It's going to be a hell of a series, and I predict the Lakers are going to win and move on and get ready to win our 18th championship
against the Celtics.
Who comes out the East?
Oh, you better hope it's not Boston.
Well, if it is Boston, what a season, man! The NBA would love that. One of the premier rivalries in the game. I mean, you couldn't ask for more, and I think both teams are suited, but I don't think Boston's getting by Cleveland. So we'll have to wait and see what y'all do because we'll be there.
All right, I'm not even gonna go there. I could dive into that, but I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm more focused in on the Lakers. Doesn't concern you that they lack rim protection, especially if they make it to the finals and go against the Celtics with that big.
You know what the amazing part about the Lakers right now, Nick, is that they're finally actually playing defense. LeBron is in the stands. Luka, they play that little zone for him, and he's able to slide his feet and keep people in front of him. Yes, there's some breakdowns here and there, but not like it was before. Before. And I think the comfort zone or that blanket, that security blanket that the Lakers had, was AD back there. They knew they could just diddle around, and then AD would probably come and block a shot. They don't have that anymore. Although Hayes is a rim protector, and he's getting there. But again, the Lakers as a whole, their perimeter defense, Coach Redick has them playing a different style now, and it looks like they're doubling some people. So that is the fun and the joy and the experience of the NBA defense. You can't play everybody in the league the same way. You got to change it up, and the Lakers are doing that now. And, again, although they're losing, they had went on a streak, man, where they were beating people. And I think now with LeBron coming back, and as you stated earlier, when a star player is injured, he's out 3, 4, 5 games, and he's coming back, there's going to be some hiccups. And that's what they have, but they're still playing good basketball.
We've had a lot of commentary about JJ Redick on this channel over the years, Coop. You've had a couple go viral. Millions of views on your clap back at JJ for calling NBA legends plumbers and whatnot, but we might all be eating crow. Is JJ a candidate for Coach of the Year, Coop?
At this point in time, I would give him that. But again, you know what? An NBA player who has experience, JJ, played 15, 16 years in the league or something like that. And it's not hard to be an NBA coach when you got the talent that he has. All you have to do is get the guys to buy into your system, to buy into defense. And JJ, to me, wasn't a great defensive player, but he was a great offensive player. And he has them bought into his system. And you know what? It just takes time. And that's what he's been given, a great opportunity with the Los Angeles Lakers. I think the transition would be very difficult had it been, say, Charlotte or Sacramento, one of them tough teams to deal with, because those kids are young and they don't understand what you're trying to do. And as a young coach coming in with no experience, they're going to take advantage of that. It's almost like a substitute teacher, come in for that day. Oh, we're going to mess around until they crack that whip. But when you got a veteran team like the Los Angeles Lakers and a star like LeBron, and with his friendship with Redick, it made his transition easy. And I would say, yeah, he's up for Coach of the Year. He's up there, but you got to get that coach from OKC. His name slips me right now. That guy has that team playing some good basketball, as well as Cleveland's coach. The guy comes, the assistant coach at Golden State, got his own team, different team than the Warriors, but look at them play basketball now.
Coop, Luka, LeBron. Where do you rank them in duos right now in the NBA?
I would say they're in the top two.
Top two duos.
Look at Tatum and Brown.
They won
number one, and then Luka and LeBron would be number two. Now, don't knock Cleveland's duo they got there in what's his name?
Cleveland,
Donovan
Mitchell.
Mitchell and the other guard that he got going, but they're still young. But LeBron and Luka are right up there with them. You got some other ones. I like the duo of Durant and Booker in Phoenix, but they haven't really played up to their expectations. But yeah, they're top two in the league. And you know what? They're going to end the season as number one duo in the league.
Wow. I mean, you're real. I mean, I've seen you convinced like this before, and it's been fool's gold. No offense, Coop. You really think the Lakers can beat the Celtics, OKC, the Celtics, or the Cavs?
The Lakers?
Yeah.
Healthy? Yes, for sure. For sure. Brown, Tatum can probably deal with Luka, LeBron.
Well, we know Brown is a Luka stopper. He's like the bird stopper.
Okay, he passed the ball. Who's going to stop Reeves? You ain't got nobody over there for that. When they come in with connect, who's going to stop him?
The Celtics are a very good
Smith. You know what? Yeah, that's why, Nick, this has to happen, because you and I are going to have a lot of shit talking going on.
Oh, man. What we
were in the days of
dude, are you kidding me? We'll be recording these shows at Boston Garden and at Staples Center when we go out there. If the Celtics play the Lakers in the finals, we'll be getting Cornbread on with us. We'll be getting Worthy on. I mean, we'll be having good times. So I'm hoping.
And I want to see Chief on there too, because he's kind of funny in the Celtics City. But we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah. Bring them all. We ain't scared of y'all. We're not scared of you guys, man.
Well, let me ask you this. You're putting LeBron and Luka number 2 in the league today, but what about all-time Lakers duos? Where, if they win the championship like you say they will this year, where will those two stand in all-time duos for the Lakers?
Well, you talk about championships, and that's the key, is that little S on the end of champion. I would put them third. Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit more biased. I think Kareem and Magic are the all-time best. I think Kobe and Shaq are definitely up there.
Baylor and West.
They slide, if Luka and LeBron wins, I think they slide ahead of Wilt and Jerry to me.
Or Baylor and Jerry, although Baylor and Jerry never won a title.
Exactly. So that's
where they would slide ahead of Wilt. Wow. So, I mean, so you would, that means to tell me that we're going to see 3 or 4 LeBron statues in and around LA, and at least 5 to 6 Luka statues. Because the Lakers have become the new Celtics. Like, we retire numbers, we get made fun of, and you guys build Statuary Park. Like,
LeBron will have a statue on each corner of crypto on north, south, east, and west.
I'm surprised he already doesn't. Man. So we're gonna talk. We're talking Lakers. Anything on closing on the Lakers before we move over to the dreaded Celtics?
You know what, Nick? I've said enough, and I think my words are gonna stand up to everything. I'm doing a lot of boasting, but I believe in I believe in the Lakes, and that's what I believe. Purple and gold.
There's nothing better for the NBA the Celtics or the Lakers than to have a Celtics-Lakers finals. I mean, you would erase all the ratings issues this year. All the controversy would be gone, and the sports world would be focused on that. I'm hoping it happens. I want to see the Celtics go 2 championships ahead of the Lakers. And
and I'm going to take you one further. If the Lakers get to the Western Conference Finals, when they get to the Western Conference Finals, and they win the championship, Rob Pelinka is GM of the year.
I think they would have to do that. I would, and boy, with that, Coop, the last time we had a really heated discussion on the Lakers, I said there was no way they were coming back. Remember, from the disaster, I said Pelinka should be fired. LeBron, the turnaround Pelinka has done here, and I don't know if Adam Silver's giving him assists or not, but whatever. The turnaround is huge. So I agree with you. I mean, I think he is GM of the year.
Yeah. Well, no, the assist comes, and again, it's the powers that be. Jeannie Buss, Linda Rambis, that whole hierarchy over there got together and pulled this one off.
They really did, and kept it so quiet you didn't even know.
Well, when you make big trades, that's the most important thing, is that you got to just do it under the cover of silence. And what was that? Maxwell Smart. Remember, he had the cone of silence, him and his guy.
Yeah. Boy,
it was a bubble everybody could hear, but they thought they were in there by
man.
themselves. But you make them kind of moves, but those moves have to be made internally, and they have to be done with a lot of confidence. I was a little skeptical of it, as we all were at that time. But you know what? I didn't know all the details that went along with it, but that's not for me to say. But again, trades are trades, and that's what happened. We lost Norm Nixon. That trade was made undercover, and nobody really knew about that. And
that blew up the league. I mean, that blew up the league at that time. I mean, he was an all-star and everything, wasn't he, at that point? He had been an all-star.
Yep. Two-time all-star, man. Norm was averaging about 25, and you know what? That trade hurt. I didn't like that trade at the time because of obviously Norm being my best friend, but I thought we probably were one of the fastest trio in the league. Myself, Norm, and Magic. And that one was made, and we bring in Byron Scott, and boy, we blew up after that. So again,
off to the races.
The eye test for any trade really doesn't like to have to match what you think it is. It's the ramifications behind it, and the people that are doing those things behind know a little bit more, or a lot more, than we know out front. And there you have it.
PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily and fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. And again, you can now win up to 1,000 times your money on PrizePicks. PrizePicks invented Flex Play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money, even if one of your picks doesn't hit. So check it out. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this basketball season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Pick more or less with PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game.
Time to move over to the Celtics now. You Lakers had your 10-part Dynasty series a couple years ago on Hulu, and the Celtics are playing their Celtics City now on HBO.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Who the hell came up with Celtic City? Y'all could have came up with a better name than that. Celtic City. So first of all, you get thumbs down for that name, Celtic City. You could have came up with something better, but you know what? I had the opportunity to go ahead. Yeah, no. Bad name.
Well, I'm not going to disagree. I kind of, when it first was announced, I was like, what the hell is that? But in watching especially the third episode, they really, Coop, and I know you saw episode 4, we'll talk about it. Well, you got to go back and watch 3, which is the 70s. And they really focused in on the Celtics and how, they kind of went up against or parallel to all the racial tensions in Boston. So in many ways, Celtics City is emblematic of where everybody came and had peace and harmony to watch basketball, while outside of the arena, as you know, the buses and everything else was blown up. So when you look at it that way, it makes sense. But my first impression, not knowing they were going that route, was really similar. I'm like, what the hell is this name? It doesn't make any sense. We're not even the most popular team in the city.
You just have broken all the way down to where I can truly understand why they call that now.
Now you understand.
I can understand that. I was thinking more something like Celtic Pride or Beantown.
No, it was. And if you watch episode 1, 2, and 3, but particularly 3, Coop, and I think because some of your favorite players were on that team with Havlicek and those guys, I think you will really, really enjoy episode 3. I had to watch it twice, Coop, which tells you it's.
Well, Nick, first of all, I'm not going to get engrossed and all caught up into that because I don't care about it. I don't care about Celtic City. I don't care. But it's very, very interesting. And I watched episode 4. So, yeah. But you know what? I'm going to watch some earlier episodes because as I was growing up, and we've talked about this before, my uncle used to make, my uncle's a diehard Celtic fan. And to this day, he's 84 years old and he still loves the Boston Celtics. And he used to sit me down and he said, Michael, this is how you play basketball. And all those guys, Havlicek, Don Nelson, Sanders, all them guys, man. Those were some of the guys that I try to implement my game after by playing fundamental team basketball. So I will do that for you, but I'm not going to get engrossed in it. I'm not going to get all.
I get that.
I'm not getting giddy about it like you are because you're sitting there gloating and everything.
I had to, as a white dude, a fat white guy, old white guy, I can say this. I had to watch episode 3 twice because the racial stuff was so jarring. It made me very uncomfortable and I couldn't enjoy it. So I had to go back and watch it again, in which I loved it. Like I embraced. I hated the racial stuff, but I embraced the way they incorporated it, but that discomfort sometimes it's necessary, I think, especially for white guys. We need to be uncomfortable once in a while. And that was discomforting, seeing a lot of that craziness that happened here in the 70s. Were you interviewed for episode 5?
No. No, but I have interviewed with Bob Ryan.
I know that was for Larry Bird's museum.
Did a part, so he might use some of our interviews then. I don't know when, but we did. I interviewed for about an hour and a half.
That was for the Larry Bird Museum. I got to see.
Yeah, but they might be able to.
They might incorporate that because Bob's in it a lot. But to this point, especially in episode 4, how about how much of a role Spencer Haywood had, and even McAdoo?
I know,
right? McAdoo was so fucking good. Coop, Mac was so good when he goes, I didn't want to go to Boston. That's like McAdoo's tagline. I'm not going to Boston. I didn't know they traded him on secret like that. I mean, that was vicious. But
that's why he hates you guys. So when we was whipping y'all's ass, he was able to enjoy it a little bit.
As we're talking Celtic City, I want to get into something you said recently, and it was called out on the podcast comments on Showtime with Coop, and it was it's relevant to the topic because it's about Larry Bird, and we're gonna put this up on the screen for everybody to see the quote, but I'm gonna read it to you now, and you can cut this out if you want. I think enough years have gone by that people like myself, guys like Magic and Kareem and James Worthy, are finally willing to admit that Larry Bird is the greatest in respect to the most complete player the NBA has ever seen. His fundamental game was basically flawless. On top of that, he was like a savant out there. You're putting that over Jordan, putting that over LeBron. Embellish it. And who was in the were any of the Showtime Lakers in the conversation with you, or is this your sole appraisal?
This is my sole appraisal because I've talked with us, when we had our Laker reunion, we talked about those things, because what made us, what made the NBA. And if you look at during the 80s, that was the one thing I was very impressed with the season 4 of Celtics City. was how they kind of talked about that racism, and the NBA was on the downslide because there was more black players, and the white spectators didn't want to pay to see that. And here comes Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and they changed basketball. And, that's why whenever I talk about Bird or Magic, you have to mention their name because they come together. They're synonymous of what basketball is about as far as, at that point in time. And Larry, the one thing I really loved about that, you get so caught up into your own side of town. For us, it was out west. And we had our battles with Houston and Seattle and all the people that we had to deal with out here in Phoenix. And you forget about what Boston went through. And watching that episode number 4 showed what Larry Bird was made of, man. Larry Bird, I always say iron sharpens iron. Well, I see why they sharpened us, because they were being sharpened back there because Philly was after their ass. And when you see the things that they went through, and the player that Larry came in, and they wanted to name him the Great White Hope. And Larry said, no, I'm just a hope. I'm coming in and I want to play basketball. And I love that, man. Going to Hellenic College and seeing that gym that they had to practice in. Kevin McHale made fun. He's like, this is where we're practicing? Well, that's like us going to LMU. LMU was a nice school, but it was a rinky-dink gym, and it was hot. They didn't have air conditioning. So Rouse set up 2 big fans by the door during training camp time. So you know what? Those are the things that make who you are. And Larry Bird was already from French Lick. He was born, and I love the story he told. I used to go over to where the black players play, and all the guys. And Larry says, you know what? I wasn't afraid of them, but I just wanted to play with them because I knew that was the best, and I always wanted to compete against the best. So when you look at that from his grounding and the foundation that he laid for himself, and being the player he became, going to Indiana State and losing the Magic, a black player, I think that kind of put that desire in him to even want to become better. But all that is made early on when he's going out competing against black players in the hood. He's going over to the other side of town to play basketball because he wanted to play with the best. And I'm not saying there were any white players that weren't the best, but that was his thinking at that time. And you know what? The grind that he went through and Boston went through, and how I got so intense watching that series with Boston and Philly, and the way they fought. And then they go to Boston and listen to Cedric and listen to ML Carr talk about that mentality. It just reminded me of what we were doing out west. And that's why you got the rivalry that you got when Boston and LA went at it, because what it did, it brought 2 of the best teams, but it also brought the racial aspect back into it. Magic Johnson, a black player, LA, mostly a black team. Boston Celtics, Larry Bird, a white player, and mostly a white team. And I enjoyed it. But Larry Bird was one of the best because you know what? Every game, every year, he was going to do something to try to win it. One more quick little thing.
No, go. This is great, Coop. Keep going.
This dude, man, the one play, there was 2 things I always loved about Larry Bird, and I'm not ashamed to say this. They showed a clip of him running out because they were talking about how tough he was and how he wanted to win. This guy did not have a chance to save the ball, but he dove out of bounds anyway to try to save the ball and slid up under those tables. Not many players would do that. Not many players, but you know what? That shows you how much he wanted to win. And then the second picture that I have of Larry Bird is we're going into Boston in 1984. And I think I've told you this story before. We're riding and we get the hotel and we're on our way to practice. And on the side of a bus, the buses are long. There's a picture of Larry all the way out, and you can see his hands and you can see his face, but it probably cut off at his torso. And at the end was a basketball, and he was about that much from it. And he says, and the caption said, I hate it when guys watch the ball go out of bounds. And you could tell he's diving out of bounds. I mean, that is the epitome of wanting to win at the finest. And
Coop, you were known for that. I mean, you were in the stands as much as you were on the court. I mean, you used to dive into. I remember all the time you diving into the stands for loose balls.
That's because out here there was nice women out there, so I'm jumping out there to jump
the
over
Laker girls,
to get a better look at them. But no, I mean that was my thing too. I didn't. Why stand and watch it when you can try to get it and save it to your teammate? And that goes back to like Bill Russell talked about blocking shots.
Yeah,
these guys block shots and knock it. Bill said, "Why block it? Let me block it and knock it to my teammate." So those are the little things, the attention to detail, the little things that makes winners. And
Coop, it's like when your best player and he's miles ahead of everybody on a team with multiple Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famers, is willing to sacrifice his body. Everyone else,
like that 10th guy on the bench, that 9th guy on the bench, I got to do that too.
Got to do it.
A star player doing it. And it's like Magic. Magic would do things. He'd get in there and bang with, and I used to eat. Why are you going in there? He would catch elbows. Coop, I want to win. So I'm going in there with the big guys and stuff like that. And you know what? If he would go rebound, oh, damn it, I'm going to go rebound. So that's what it was about.
They highlighted that the first matchup, rookie year of Magic and Larry, and it was at the Forum. Any recollections of that game? Their very first game at the Forum? If you don't, it's no big deal.
No, I mean, it just kind of went back to their days in college.
Yeah.
That's all we kept thinking about. And that was Magic said, you know what? I'm not losing to this motherfucker. Let's go, y'all. And it's not necessarily Larry. It's just about the Celtics. We're not losing to them. I'm not losing to his team. So it was all about just playing hard, man, wanting to beat him every time we could. And it was so ingrained in Magic that it came out and got into us.
Yeah.
So every time we saw Boston, every time we saw the Celtics or Larry, we wanted to win. And I love it when Larry said in 1980 we won our championship, and he said, "You know what? I'm pissed. I was pissed." Yeah,
he watched that whole game. Did you hear him say, "I watched that whole game start to finish, and I was fucking pissed."
I'm glad he felt that way. I really am glad he felt that way because you know what? When they won and we didn't in 80, was it 83? When they won the championship?
No, you won in 83.
Huh?
You won in 80. You won in 80.
No, we won 80, 82. So Boston won what? 81?
81.
I was pissed when they won.
Because they won. Because they won.
Because they won. Yeah.
They won.
I was pissed off. Yeah. Boston won.
Back to this best overall player thing, Coop.
What?
Back to your statement on best all-around player again, the go to being all around. And does that include to this date, or is that just to the point where I think including to this date. I don't see I see guys in the league that are more talented, more athletic, I'll say. Yeah. I see guys in the league that are a little bit more flashy, but nobody to this date for me that did the things that Larry was a top 10 rebounder. He was a top 10 scorer. He was a top 10 assist guy. He's a top 10 winning guy. All defense.
He just gave it all to the game. And you don't see that even in today's game. I think you have people that are close with it. Who can I say that's close with it? LeBron, yeah, but
KD.
Yeah, I give that to LeBron. But you got the things that he did. Yeah, I would think LeBron would be the most one comparable to Larry.
You had to start a team today and you had Larry and LeBron. Who'd you pick?
Well, I'm going with LeBron because he's a Laker.
No, come on. Pretend he's still with Miami.
I'm going to take that out. If I had to go, I would, and really, I would. It's a hard pick, but I have to go with Larry simply because I think Larry's a better perimeter shooter than LeBron. LeBron has eventually become one, but Larry was already that.
Better rebounder.
And I think Larry, that's a hard one. And not putting any kind of jerseys on Boston, LA.
Yeah. So, I look at that, Coop, like Larry was LeBron, more athletic, physical freak. Larry was a better shooter, a better rebounder, probably tied in passing.
Yeah,
with LeBron, more clutch.
LeBron's a damn good passer.
LeBron's a great passer.
But I'm gonna say this: I think Larry's a better free throw shooter.
Much better, and also clutch. Larry was way more clutch.
Yeah,
Did you fear when Larry had the ball, like in the closing?
Oh, we're always nervous. If it was the
like
last shot, you would clinch up because I mean that's the guy. That's what Larry was built for. Larry was built obviously to play the game, but Larry Bird was built for clutch shots. That's what he was. I mean, he had no fear. Like, I mean, Cedric tells the thing, hey, I guess Casey Jones was writing up a play.
Yeah.
Listen, give me the ball. The rest of y'all get out the
way.
fucking way. And you got to have a guy like that. You know, you got to have a guy like that, and not many people are like that. And Larry, Magic, Kareem loved the ball. LeBron James loved the ball. I think KD loved that. I think there's certain players that want the ball, and they want the pressure for when it's all to be said and done.
We're gonna do a Lakers-Celtics edition of start bench cut, but before we do, want to remind our listeners: subscribe to the Showtime with Coop podcast on iTunes, Spotify. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Give it a like and help us grow in the ratings. Before we move on to start bench cut, Coop, Max is my boy. 81 finals. They barely mentioned him. Today in our content meeting here at my company, that was a subject of conversation. Did Bill Simmons do Max dirty by not giving him his flowers for what he did in 81? We all say yes. What say you on the outside?
Well, I got to watch more because I only watched that one segment, and Max was very prevalent in that segment.
But they barely mentioned that he won the 81 MVP. Barely mentioned it.
True.
They almost acted as if Larry won it.
But you know what? I did not notice that Max went into the stands. I thought the only crazy person was Ron Artest.
Well, you almost said "World Be Free." He almost said "World Be Free"
in the palace. Meta World Peace. But I didn't know Max. So you know what? That I saw a different side of Max, and I appreciate
that was the Cedric Maxwell rule after that because he didn't get a foul, a suspension, ejection. There was no foul called.
You gotta love the 80s, baby. You gotta love the 80s. No
one shot free throws. So after that, Larry O'Brien put in at that time the Cedric Max. If you went into the stands, it was an automatic suspension after that play. And the funny thing is, Max finally revealed what the guy said to him in the plaid coat. All these years, he said it's still under litigation. I can't tell you what the guy said to me. Here, the guy only said to him, "Get back on the court." And Max attacked him. The best part is, Coop, you start seeing.
Max goes, "Did he say that to me?"
But then you start see the brawl break out, right? And the camera pans to Cedric Maxwell walking away while everybody else is duking it out.
He instigated and then walks away from it.
Just like this, right? Like he did with Worthy back in '84. He was him and ML Carr were thorns in you guys' side with the trash talking.
You know what? I wish I could have got to Max when he was doing that because I'd have dealt with him.
We got to have Max back on.
Sure.
So anyway, let's do our bench cut start, Coop. Start bench cut. This is Lakers-Celtics edition, and I set these up for you today, Coop.
Okay.
So it'll be just you doing them, and they're a little obscure, as I have a speech impediment. Obscure. So listeners, please understand I had tooth oral surgery, and I'm still have a speech impediment, but I'm powering through it. So the first one is Lakers versus Celtics, all defending short guys, small guys, right? Guards, all defensive guards. So bench or start bench cut. Trevor Ariza, Tony Allen, or Dennis Johnson. He's gonna cut Ariza. Watch.
I'm starting Trevor Ariza, Tony Allen.
He's got to start
Dennis Johnson. I'm starting DJ. I'm gonna start him, and the only reason I'm starting him is because he's from California.
I knew that was coming.
Not because he got that Celtics. I'm starting DJ because DJ could get it done, man. I'm going to. Tony Allen played on my Big Three team last year.
I remember. I attended that game.
I'm gonna start Trevor Ariza. I'm gonna start DJ. I'm gonna bench Trevor Ariza, and I gotta cut TA. And the reason for because TA and Trevor are about the same player, but I think Trevor's a better shooter.
I get that. I get
TA could be a better. I think TA is a better, tougher defensive player
Kobe
But
said best ever defended him, not you in his initial workout, Kobe. He said the TA. So, but I could see that. I mean, you need the outside shooting, and Ariza brings that. We're going to move to the front line. Larry Bird, Cap, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and the King, LeBron James. You know what I'm trying to get you to do here. It's so obvious.
Wow. I'm going to start Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because Cap got an unstoppable, undefensible skyhook. I'm going to start Cap for the skyhook. I'm going to bench LeBron, and I'm going to cut Larry.
That's bullshit. You're doing it on purpose. Now, you just said you would pick Larry as your best overall. You're doing that fucker on purpose. Come on.
I'm going with my Lakers.
Fucking all right. We'll leave it in, but you know he's lying, listeners. All right, the last one. We're gonna stay on the front line.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna cut Larry all the way. I'm just gonna put him on the side. Okay?
Come on, no. No. All right, so wait. Pau Gasol, Big Game James, or the black hole, Kevin McHale?
Ooh, good one. I'm going to start James Worthy because Big Game was unstoppable. I think he could play on the perimeter as well as down low. I'm going to bench Kevin McHale because I think Kevin is just undefensible player too. I love Pau Gasol. I think he's a good player. A little soft for me, but still very, very skilled. And Gasol was kind of a tough matchup for people too. But I got to go with James because James is going to get on that out on the break. He's going to run the floor real well, and he's coming in with that worthy one-hand swoop. Kevin McHale, probably one of the hardest players to defend in the low post and them long arms, so I got to give him that. But it's tough for me to cut Pau Gasol, but I have to.
Those were tough, Coop. One question going back to the Kareem, and I've asked you variations of this question, but I want to ask it this way. Could the skyhook, if shot correctly, like Kareem did, obviously, could that exist and thrive in today's game?
If people would take the time to really learn how to do it. And I think that shot has to be by somebody 6'10", 6'11". You got to have long arms for that, and you got to be
big hands enough. And big hands.
Yeah, and that's why I say that if somebody asked me this the other day, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be so successful in today's game. One, because the way you can't bang on people that like you used to do. And he has a shot that's almost like a jumper. Now, yeah, the 3-point shot, you get one more point more, but why Kareem would, in today's game, Kareem would average probably about, in his prime, in Milwaukee,
35?
Kareem would average almost 50 points.
50?
In today's game. Because who's going to block a shot?
Not to mention, the lane is so freely open now. He could work in that low post.
Oh, and just kill people. You couldn't touch him because the way they call him fouls, every time he turned to shoot a hook, the guys were banging like that. That's 3 points. That's an and one every time. So, and he's going to be dunking most of it. So,
and he was a great passer out of double teams. So spreading the court, having the lane wide open, putting Kareem down there, a double or a triple is coming. He's going to find the guy on the perimeter.
Floor too.
He could run when he wanted to. Boy, he ran well when he wanted to, man. He really could.
And when he was younger, obviously.
I still say Chief is the best running big man of all time, Robert Parrish.
Bullshit.
You don't think? Who you put ahead of him?
Kareem ran faster than Chief.
No way. I'm going to do a cut-up of that, and we're going to look at it and see Kareem on the break versus Parrish on the break. Parrish was
with AI now. You can almost do anything with AI. So we can get them going.
Right. Coop. I keep getting served on Instagram these videos of like Cheers, like the sitcoms we grew up watching, and how they look then and now. And now they have the baby ones, Coop. So they have the baby Sopranos, like, and it's Tony Soprano as a baby. They need to do that for the Showtime Lakers. You, Magic, Kareem.
Whoever's doing it, yeah. There's a lot of teams they could. The Sixers, the Celtics. I mean, so many teams.
Well, and that's a question today versus then. I mean, back then, the personalities in the game, I mean, they were so much more robust than they are today. They could do that forever with the teams from the – just look at Chocolate Thunder. I was watching a clip the other day. Coop, he must have had on as many necklaces during the game as Mr. T. I'm like, how was that allowed? How was that allowed?
For those of you that don't know who Chocolate Thunder is, it's Daryl Dawkins, the rim-rattling big man as ever, man. I miss him so much.
He's the reason why you can't hang on the rim, right?
Yeah.
Because of him.
Daryl was breaking all that. And the funny part about Daryl, he could dunk with both hands equally well, man.
And strong as ever, right?
Other than Wilt Chamberlain and Artist Gilmore,
what about Wes?
Daryl Dawkins is probably the strongest big man in the game.
Wes Unseld.
Wes Unseld was another big one. But he's a power forward. We talking about centers.
Coop, great episode, man. Another good one in the bag here. We're going to start going live, right?
Yeah.
We'll do that on your Twitter handle.
People call in.
Yeah, we'll have people, but they'll be in the chat room talking to us. We'll get callers. We're going to have a good time. This is going to be a good playoff run. I am rooting for the Lakers because I want a Lakers-Celtics because you and me will kill it if there's Lakers. And, we'll get Byron's guys in there. His podcast is great, too. He's doing a great job with that, Byron's guy.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to tell you something. I'm not rooting for the Celtics because I think that they're going to be beat by Cleveland. But if they happen to get there, then we can talk about it. But the Lakers will be there waiting, and we'll be waiting on whoever to win our 18th championship to tie Celtics City. And, we're going to be moving on. But you know what? Another great episode, Nick.
Wait, Coop, before we wrap, next week is going to be all Showtime versus Larry. So we are definitely going to do a breakdown of episode 5 because it's going to be Magic and Larry, man. You're going to give us insight.
That means I got to watch another episode of that.
Yeah, because you got to give us the opposition's opinion.
Okay.
Coop, your listeners want to hear it, man. Watch, we're going to get all these comments. They're going to say, Coop, all these comments are going to come in. You got to get rid of that Celtics co-host. Would you get rid of that fucking guy? Coopy, good episode, man.
Thanks, Nick. And I can't wait to go really, really live because let's answer some questions.
We're going to have fun.
Okay.
Thanks, Coop. Later, man.
There you go. Another episode in the can of Showtime with Coop with Nick. Nick, the Celtic lover. If he were green, I would think he was that leprechaun on top of the basket.
I have purple
things off.